This is probably my most personal film. Normally, I write my films, and I think that when you write your films, pretty much everything is kind of personal or autobiographical. Only it's more masked by characters that are not really connected directly, openly to you. In this case, I had characters that are really looking like more like my family, my mother, myself, my brothers and sisters. So there were less masking elements to play with. So in that sense, I took off an extra layer of an extra filter. Let's say it's filterless. That's why I call it a little bit more personal. But transformation and transfiguration is always there if you want to tell a universal story. The danger when you deal with personal material is is always not to find that important distance and detachment from you and your subject to make things understandable and empathizable for the rest of the world. So in this case, it was a little bit more difficult just because that filter was off. And I always need to remind myself, keep myself saying, what is important, very important for you and your memory, might not be for the audience and the people watching. So the film is really dealing with the family dynamics, and the film is really dealing with how kids are looking at their parents when they don't understand something going on. In this case, for example, there is an apparent, evident lack of love between the two main parents. So each kid somatizes something, a pain, or something that goes wrong with them in that moment. One cannot eat, the smaller one. The other one is too chubby because he eats too much. The older one has gender issue. She wants to be in the story because the story tells this particular story, which doesn't mean is the gender issue story in general, because every human being has a very specific way of communicating with the world and with itself. So that's why I don't like to generalize. A story needs to be told very specifically. In my case, this girl, 11 years old, wants to be the perfect man, the ideal man for her mother, wants to make peace between the war that she's assisting, she sees between male and female. And she takes her on her body. I'm going to be male, I'm going to be female, and it's going to be peaceful, and it's going to be joyful, and it's going to be successful. This is this particular story, which doesn't mean it's the story of transgender kids, because each transgender kids has to have the respect of being treated as a unique, special case like every other kids in the world and like every other human beings in the world. I really don't like generalization. The topic and the issue is much bigger than that. It's much complex than that. Identity is a much broader issue to think about. Identity for me could be Phil and being a director. You cannot take that identity out of me, like I cannot take that identity out of somebody believing to be a photography. It's as important as the rest. It's what you build in your life. It is what makes you exist as a human being. So my focus is really on what is human being about. And if I can add something, and it's my personal interpretation, all these kids that are telling us and talking to us about fluidity, gender. In my personal interpretation is personal. I take all responsibility for this personal interpretation. They kind of want to tell us maybe, and I sound an underline maybe, hey guys, it is so important to talk about what female is and what male is, pink and blue. Would anybody tell us what is a human being is about, what he does believe, what colors he wears. A human being. I have the feeling that they kind of fed up with classificatory issues, Darwinian classifications. We are I think we are a little bit beyond that. And I'm so happy about it. I'm so happy that they are the one, with their innocence, with their lack of structure, that they are telling us, hello, maybe we can go beyond that. Maybe we can be whatever we feel like being in each given phases of our life without feeling guilty for it. That's probably, yeah, that's what I believe.